in the rolling plains of Oklahoma, where the wind carried whispers of history. Through the grass, 11-year-old Caleb Reed lived with his grandfather, Amos, in a weathered farmhouse near Redstone Creek. Caleb was a lanky boy with sun-bleached hair and hazel eyes that saw more than, he said, a quiet kid who'd rather listen to the land than the chatter of town. His parents had died in a barn fire when he was 6, leaving him with Amos, a stooped, gruff man with hands like leather, who'd farmed these fields since the Dust Bowl. Caleb loved the stories Amos told, of pioneers, storms, and lost times, and they filled the silence left by loss. Redstone Creek was a speck on the map, its dirt roads lined with sagging fences. And barns, the plains stretching wide under a sky that felt endless. Beyond the farm lay the old homestead site, a ruin of stone and timber. Amos called the past, where Caleb roamed with a pocket knife and a curiosity he couldn't tame. Amos warned him off it. Ghosts live there, boy. But Caleb felt drawn, like the earth itself called him. It was mid-June now, the air thick with heat, the grass buzzing with cicadas. Caleb stood on the porch that morning, his boots scuffed, a stick in hand he'd whittled into a spear. He'd planned to explore the homestead, hunting for arrowheads or old nails, his pockets jingling with a few pennies and a gum wrapper. The sky was a deep blue, clouds piling on the horizon, promising a storm by dusk. As he trekked across the field, dust kicking up under his feet, a sound stopped him, a deep, mournful howl, low and ancient, drifting from the homestead's crumbled walls. Caleb's heart thudded. Coyotes roamed here, but this was different, stronger, sadder. He gripped his stick, his boots crunching faster, and followed the howl, weaving through tall grass toward the ruin. Something was there, needing him, and Caleb couldn't turn away, not when the past seemed to speak. The homestead was a skeleton of history, its stones mossy and cracked, its timbers jutting like bones from the earth. Caleb stepped through a gap in the wall, the air cooler here, heavy with the scent of dust and time. The howl came again, closer, echoing from a sunken cellar half buried under rubble, a mining pit from the old days, Amos had said. Caleb's boots slid on loose dirt as he edged toward it, his stick tapping stones, the sound guiding him like a thread through the dark. At the cellar's edge, he peered down, squinting into the gloom, and saw it. A dog, massive and brown, sprawled amid broken planks and rock. Its fur was tangled with burrs, its body heaving, one leg pinned under a timber. A rusted chain coiled around its neck, anchored to a spike in the wall. Caleb's breath caught. Its eyes, a deep gold, met his, fierce but weary, and it let out a low whine, a plea that hit him like a fist. Up close, he saw its ribs, its strength, and something else, a collar, worn leather, glinting with an old tag. He dropped to his knees, dirt smudging his jeans. "Hey, big guy," he whispered, voice soft but sure. "I'll get you out." The dog's belly was taut, not fat, but full, maybe with pups, though he couldn't tell. He tugged at the timber, his hands slipping, the wood heavy and splintered. It didn't budge, pinned by rocks above. The chain was worse, tight, cutting into the dog's neck, blood matting its fur. Caleb's chest tightened. He couldn't leave it here, not like this. He scrambled back, searching the ruin. A jagged plank lay nearby. He grabbed it, his hands stinging, and wedged it under the timber, prying with all his weight. The dog whimpered, its head lolling, but Caleb kept going, sweat beading on his brow. "Hold on," he grunted, dirt raining down. The timber shifted, an inch, then two. He slid his hands under the dog, careful of its bulk, and pulled, its weight dragging him down. The chain held fast, the spike unyielding. He jammed his stick into the spike's base, twisting, his arms shaking, until it popped free with a dull clank. Caleb hauled the dog to a flat stone under a sagging roof, laying it gently his shirt pulled off to cover its shivering form. Its golden eyes met his, deep and knowing, and it let out a soft huff, almost grateful. Caleb sank beside it, panting, hands bloody. "You're safe," he said, voice cracking. The plains stretched quiet around them, but he knew he couldn't stay. Amos would worry, and the dog needed more. He'd carry it somehow, his skinny arms set, because this guardian from the past was his now. The ruin's shade was a frail shelter, the air thick with dust and the storm's first breath. Caleb sat by the dog, Duke, he'd named it, after a tale Amos told of a pioneer's hound, its massive form resting on his shirt, golden eyes half closed but fixed on him. His hands throbbed, scraped raw from the chain, but he watched Duke's chest rise, steady now, feeling the life beneath its matted fur. The tag on its collar glinted, an old thing, engraved with D17, strange for a stray. Duke shuddered, a low groan rumbling from its throat, and Caleb's eyes widened, its belly tightened, its breathing hitched. "Oh no," he whispered, scooting closer. Pups were coming. Here, in this crumbling pit. He'd seen calves born on the farm, but this was different. Alone, with no one to guide him. He patted Duke's head, voice trembling. "You're tough, Duke. I'm with ya." The dog's eyes flickered, trusting, and Caleb felt a rush, fear, but something stronger too. The first pup slid out fast, a big, wet bundle, brown like Duke, squeaking as it hit the shirt. Caleb's jaw dropped as Duke licked it clean, nudging it to his side, its cry sharp against the stone. "One," he breathed, a grin breaking through. A second followed, smaller, its fur slick, and Duke worked slower, strength waning but sure, guiding it to nurse. Caleb's heart lifted. They were alive. Duke was doing it. Then the third. It was huge, too still, its fur streaked with gray. Duke nosed it, whining, but it didn't stir, a heavy shadow in the gloom. Caleb's throat closed. He couldn't lose it, not after this. He scooped it up, hands shaking, its cold sinking into his palms. "No," he choked, tears blurring his vision. He thought of the fire, his parents' screams, and rubbed the pup's back, desperate. "Live, please live," he begged, voice breaking, louder than he'd spoken since that night. Nothing, then a jolt, a faint kick. The pup's eyes opened, and Caleb froze. They glowed, a bright silver, unnatural, and piercing, lighting the cellar like moonlight. It barked, weak but alive, and he laughed through sobs, setting it with its siblings. "You're okay," he whispered, wiping his face. Duke licked it, calm as if this was expected, but Caleb's pulse raced. Those eyes weren't normal, weren't anything he knew. A rumble shook the ruin. Thunder, then footsteps, heavy and fast. "Caleb, where you at, boy?" Amos's voice roared, rough with fear. Caleb peeked through the gap, his grandpa, hobbling with a cane, lantern swinging. "Here," he yelled, voice raw. Amos ducked in, his face pale under his hat, and stopped, staring at Duke and the pups, the silver glow catching his breath. "Lord Almighty, what did you find?" Before Caleb could answer, a crack split the air, timbers groaned, dust poured from above. Storms shaking it loose. Amos barked. "Move." He scooped Duke and the pups in his arms, Caleb grabbing his stick and shirt. They ran, stones tumbling behind, bursting into the field as the cellar caved, a cloud swallowing the ruin. Caleb panted, the silver glow searing his mind. Duke's past was alive, guarding them still. The farmhouse's warmth enveloped Caleb as Amos shoved the door open, the stove's heat chasing the chill from their bones. He set Duke and the pups on a quilt by the fire, the big dog settling with a tired huff. Silver-eyed pup nestled close. Caleb sank beside them, his jeans torn, hands bloody but ignored. Amos leaned on his cane, breathing hard, his eyes on the pups. "You're a fool, boy," Running into that death trap, he growled, but his tone softened at the glow, a wonder he couldn't hide. Duke lapped water from a bowl Amos fetched, strength creeping back, and Caleb brushed its fur, whispering, "You're home, Duke." Amos rummaged for bandages, muttering, "Where'd that glow come from?" Caleb shrugged, hair falling in his eyes. When it was born, its eyes lit up like stars. Amos paused, peering at the tag, D17, and frowned, tracing the leather. "Old, too old," he said, voice low. A sharp knock rattled the door, 3 firm raps, cutting the quiet. Duke growled, ears back, the silver-eyed pup's glow flaring. Amos gripped his cane, swapping it for a rifle by the wall. "Stay put," he said, cracking the door. A man stood there, tall and weathered, a badge on his coat, some faded emblem. "Amos Reed," he asked, voice deep. "Agent John Holt, Historical Preservation. That dog's ours, designation D17. Lost from a site decades back. Need it returned, pups too." He held a folder, papers yellowed, a photo of Duke, impossibly old. Amos didn't flinch, rifle low. "Yours? Chained in a cellar, near dead? Ain't preservation I'd claim." Holt's jaw tightened, but he stayed calm. "An artifact, tied to a classified project. Valuable history. Hand it over, or we'll take it legal." Duke's growl deepened, the silver glow pulsing, and Caleb felt a chill. Those eyes locked on Holt, fierce. "He's mine," Caleb said, standing, voice steady. "I saved him, he stays." Holt's gaze shifted, hard then soft. "Kid, you don't get it. This is bigger than you. You've got till noon, or I bring a crew." He turned, boots thudding away, pausing by his truck to radio, words lost to the wind. Amos slammed the door, locking it, hands trembling. "That ain't history. Too slick, too eager." He eyed Duke, then Caleb. "What's with them eyes?" Caleb knelt by the pups, the silver glow steady. "They're special. Duke showed me something, I think." Amos muttered, "Trouble's brewin'. We're tangled in it." Duke's eyes met Caleb's, golden and deep, a guardian's promise, past and present colliding. Night blanketed the farmhouse, the plains beyond a sea of dark under a brewing storm. Caleb sat by Duke, whittling his stick, watching the silver-eyed pup, Star, he'd named it, nurse with its siblings. Amos paced, rifle in hand, peering through the blinds, his muttering lost to the wind's howl. "That Holt fella's trouble," he growled. "Ain't letting him take nothin'." Duke's ears flicked, head lifting, eyes wide. Caleb's stomach knotted. Engines hummed outside, low and creeping closer. Star's silver glow flared, and a vision hit. Holt's truck leading 2 more men. In dark gear stepping out, flashlights cutting toward the house. It was real, now, Duke beaming it through some old magic. "Grandpa," Caleb gasped, jumping up. "They're here now." Amos spun, rifle ready, face grim. "Back door go." Caleb scooped Duke and the pups into the quilt, Star's glow lighting his hands, their warmth steadying his shake. Duke didn't fight, his trust a rock. A fist pounded the front. "Open up, Reed. No more chances." Holt's voice boomed, cold and sharp. Amos flung open the back door, wind rushing in, and shoved Caleb out. "Field run." Caleb stumbled into the grass, Duke heavy in his arms, Amos behind with the rifle. The front door splintered, boots crashed inside, voices barking. "They're out back, move." Holt shouted. Beams swept the field, grazing the stalks as Caleb's boots sank into dirt, breath ragged. The barn loomed, a dark hulk in the storm, their only shot. They ducked through grass, burrs snagging Caleb's jeans, but the lights closed in, too fast. "Keep going," Amos hissed, turning to aim high. He fired, a blast that split the night, scattering beams as men ducked. "Stay back," he roared. Caleb didn't stop. He ran, Duke's warmth against him, Star's glow pulsing. A vision flashed, a ditch veering west, hidden by brush, leading to an old storm cellar. There, Caleb swerved right, trusting it, legs burning. Amos caught up, grass whipping, as shouts grew. West side. Cut him off. Holt's voice was furious, close. The ditch dipped, brush clawing, but the cellar loomed, a concrete hatch in the earth. Caleb yanked it open, hinges groaning, and slipped inside, Amos following. The space was dank, smelling of mold, but it hid them. Outside, boots stomped past, voices cursing the dark. Lost em, fan out. Holt snapped. Caleb sank against the wall, panting, Duke trembling in his arms. Stars glowed dimmed, but its silver eyes met his, steady. Amos lowered the rifle, wiping sweat. That dog knew the way, he whispered awed. Caleb nodded, tears brimming. He's guarding us, from way back. Duke's huff rose, soft and sure, a guardian's oath, passed to present unbroken. The cellar was a cold, tight bunker, its walls slick with damp, the air heavy with earth and time. Caleb huddled beside Amos, Duke and the pups cradled in the quilt on his lap, their warmth cutting the chill. Amos leaned against a crate, rifle across his knees, breath fogging in the lantern's faint glow, a rusted thing he'd lit from a shelf. The searchers' voices had faded, beams retreating, but the tension held. Holt was out there, waiting. Stars' silver glow pulsed softly, a wonder in the dark, and Caleb stroked Duke's fur, his guardianship a steady pulse. Amos shifted, wincing as he rubbed his leg. Ain't no preservation outfit, he said, voice rough. Military, old maybe, too armed, too quick. Caleb nodded, replaying the vision. Holt's men, their gear, the urgency. Star's eyes, they glow, show me stuff. Duke too. What? Amos muttered. Something from way back. Something they buried. A rustle sounded outside, soft but sure. Amos tensed, raising the rifle, but a gruff voice called. Amos? Caleb? It's me. It was old Joe, the town's mechanic, his truck a lifeline here. Amos lowered the gun, relief flashing. Joe? Here. The hatch creaked, and Joe stepped in, coat dusty, a vet's kit in hand. Behind him came Dr. Ellen Tate, a wiry vet with gray hair, Amos's old neighbor. Heard the shot, Joe said, kneeling. New trouble found ya. Ellen's eyes widened at Duke and the pups, stars glow catching her breath. What those eyes? Caleb spilled it. The ruin, the rescue. Holt's men, voice steady despite his shake. Ellen examined Duke, pausing at the tag, D-17, and scanned it, data flashing. He's old, Project Guardian, military, 40s maybe. Enhanced dogs, sight, instinct, linked to handlers, for war. Amos cursed. Linked. Ellen nodded. Visions, senses beamed to you, Caleb. That pup's born with it, stronger. Joe whistled. So they lost him? Ellen shook her head. Or hid him. Pups threw it off. Now they want him back. History they can't let out. Caleb clutched Duke. He showed me the way, guarded us. Ellen's face softened. He's a guardian, and a threat to him. Amos stood, firm. We ain't safe. They'll scour the plains. Ellen nodded. Got a safe house, ranch, 50 miles south. Hide him there, figure it. Joe hefted the kit. Truck stashed, let's roll. They crated Duke and the pups, Caleb whispering. You're ours. Ellen handed Amos a folder, old files. Expose em with this. They slipped out, Joe leading to his truck in the grass. The drive was tense, headlights off, the road a blur of plains. At the ranch, a sturdy spread, Ellen settled Duke in a warm barn, pups close. He'll heal, she said, but they'll hunt. Caleb sat beside him, stars glow a vow, they'd fight on. The ranch glowed under a morning sun, its barns a shield against Oklahoma's wild plains. Caleb sat by Duke's stall, a blanket over his knees, watching the big dog nurse his pups. Amos leaned nearby, rifle propped, sipping coffee from a tin cup. Ellen had checked Duke. strength returning fast, eyes sharp, and Star's silver glow pulsed, a marvel in the quiet. The other pups squirmed, growing, but Star was different, its power a thread Caleb felt deep. Joe had scouted, no sign of Holt's team, but the calm felt thin. They'll come, Ellen warned, sorting the folders files, notes, photos, names tied to Project Guardian. Enhanced dogs, sight beyond sight, linked to humans, for battle, not history. He's proof they broke rules. Amos flipped a page, scowling. Enough to end him? Ellen nodded. If we get it out, press, feds. I've got people. Caleb traced Duke's ear, his huff calming him. Why me? He murmured. Ellen knelt. That link's for soldiers, but you saved him. He chose you. Caleb's chest swelled. He wasn't just a farm boy now. Will they take him? Amos's hand rested on his shoulder. Not while I'm kicking, boy. That night, as Amos dozed, Caleb woke to Star's bark. Its silver eyes flared, and a vision hit. Holt in a truck, maps marked, men nodding as he pointed south. They're coming, he whispered, shaking Amos. Ellen checked a radio, static, but the threat loomed. We move him, she said, grabbing the files. West, safehouse 2. Caleb crated Duke, his guardianship in his hands. Amos hefting the rifle. No one's talking him, he growled. They piled into Joe's truck, headlights off, the road twisting through grass. Star's glow flickered, a guide, and Caleb whispered, We'll protect you. Duke's eyes met his, golden and fierce. A bond from past to present, unbroken. Headlights loomed ahead, closing fast. Holt wasn't done. What's Duke guarding still? Caleb asked, voice bold. Can he save us? The dog's huff answered, deep and wild, a promise unfolded.